So Charlie asked her to keep an eye on this woman once Elsa started, and to let him know if anything seemed off. After talking with Doris, Charlie grabbed a cab that afternoon and headed to the airport, ready to pick up Claire's best friend, Elsa. He had just gotten out of the cab and was about to head into the arrival hall when a luxury car screeched to a halt right in front of him. Claire's cousin, Harold, stuck his head out the window, scowling at Charlie. "Charlie, what are you doing here?" "I'm here to pick up a friend of Claire's," Charlie said, frowning. He noticed the other people in the car were familiar faces too, Gerald and Wendy. Harold scoffed. "You mean Miss Gardner, right? We're here to take care of her, so you're not needed. Get lost." Charlie snorted coldly. "If anyone should get lost, it's you." With that, Charlie ignored them and walked straight into the arrival hall. Harold looked like he was about to start cursing, but Wendy, sitting next to him, quickly reminded him. "Brother, Elsa will be here any second. Grandma told you to make a good impression. If you can get her to marry you, our family's status would be unmatched. Don't let this loser ruin it." That snapped Harold back to reality. He'd almost forgotten the main reason he was here today. Picking Elsa up was just part of it. The real goal was to impress her and, hopefully, win her over. The Gardner family's influence in Eastcliff is huge. If he could marry into that family, it would put them on a whole new level. The Wilson family's fortune would skyrocket. So, he swallowed his anger at Charlie, and the three of them quickly got out of the car and rushed into the arrival hall. Just then, they spotted an incredibly eye-catching, beautiful young woman in the crowd. She had long, chestnut-colored hair and wore a white skirt that perfectly highlighted her amazing figure. Even though she had on sunglasses, you could see her skin was porcelain white, and her lips were a fiery red. Her beauty and charm were impossible to miss. Looking closer, she was just as beautiful as Claire, though they each had their own unique style. For a moment, everyone in the arrivals area seemed to have their eyes fixed on her. Harold was completely stunned. Even Gerald, who was just there for the show, was shocked. He couldn't help but sigh. "Wow, girls from Eastcliff really have a different vibe." Just then, Elsa spotted them and hurried over, waving. "Gerald, Wendy, and Charlie, long time no see!" Harold's heart was racing with excitement. He jumped in first. "Long time no see, Elsa. You look amazing." Charlie smiled. "Long time no see." Harold quickly cut in again. "Elsa, since I knew you were coming, I booked a private room at the best hotel in Orris Hill. We're all set to go. We can head over now." Elsa glanced at Charlie, then turned back to Harold apologetically. "Harold, I'm so sorry. I already made plans with Claire and Charlie. Let's reschedule for another day. I'm going to be in Orris Hill for a long time, so we'll have plenty of other chances." Hearing that, Harold's heart filled with anger. On such an important day, Charlie, that useless freeloader, had to show up and ruin everything. It was just awful. So, he said deliberately, "Elsa, to welcome you properly, I booked the Gold Box at the mansion. It's the most famous restaurant in Orris Hill. It has a minimum spend of $300,000. As he spoke, he shot Charlie a smug look and grinned. "I have no idea where my stay-at-home brother-in-law is taking you for dinner. I just hope it's not some cheap place. That would be a huge insult to you, wouldn't it?" Charlie was a little surprised to hear that Harold's choice was the mansion. What a coincidence, he thought. Wasn't it Orville Hudson who said he owned the mansion? And it seemed he had also arranged a dinner there for him. Just then, Gerald, who was standing to the side, looked shocked. "Harold, you actually managed to book the Gold Box at the mansion? That's not something just anyone can reserve." Harold smiled smugly. "Honestly, besides the top diamond box at the mansion, which I can't book, Everything else is no big deal." Of course, this was just Harold bragging. The truth was, to get the gold box, Mrs. Wilson had to personally pull some strings and pay a lot of money to make it happen. Elsa had heard of the mansion back in Eastcliff and quickly said, "We're all friends. There's no need to be so fancy." Harold said dismissively, "You're an honored guest. We can't treat you like just any other friend." Then he turned to Charlie again. "So, brother-in-law, where did you book your dinner?" Charlie said calmly, "What a coincidence. I also booked a table at the mansion." Harold burst out laughing. "Charlie, you really have no shame, do you? You couldn't even get a reservation for the bronze box at the mansion, and you have the nerve to lie about it here?" Charlie smiled coolly. "Whether I'm bluffing or not, what's it to you? I'm not inviting you to dinner. Don't you have anything better to do?" Harold said coldly, "Yeah, right. A guy like you wouldn't even be allowed in the front door of the mansion." Elsa couldn't stand seeing them gang up on Charlie. She knew he was a live-in son-in-law with no money or position in the Wilson family. It was totally unrealistic to think he could afford a top-tier restaurant. She figured Charlie was just saying it to save face. So, not wanting him to be completely humiliated, she stepped in. "Hey, there's no need to argue about this. If you all booked the same place, then we should just go together." Harold sneered at Charlie. "All right, for Elsa's sake, I'll let you tag along for a meal. You can see what a real high-end restaurant looks like for once." Charlie just scoffed and ignored him. Orville would get on his knees the second he saw him, so what did he care about this restaurant Orville owned? Too bad an idiot like Harold was completely clueless. The mansion was a beautiful, traditional Chinese-style hotel. The decor was filled with classic charm and was incredibly luxurious. Even the sign out front was carved from high-quality golden oak. Charlie looked around at the decorations inside the mansion and was a little surprised. He hadn't expected Orville's restaurant to be this nice. He thought he might bring his wife here sometime. Elsa looked around and exclaimed, "I'd heard about the mansion all the way back in Eastcliff, and it definitely lives up to the hype." Harold smiled and said, "Well, when you're in town, Elsa, you deserve the best." Then he glanced over at Charlie and sneered, "Not like some people. If it wasn't for you, they'd never get the chance to set foot in a place like this in their entire lives." Wendy chimed in, deliberately trying to put him on the spot. "Charlie, didn't you say you booked a table at the mansion too? Which room is it? Go on, show us. We're dying to see." Charlie said calmly, "I don't remember the specific room. I just texted the owner and asked him to set something up. Let me check my messages." Harold scoffed. "Do you have any idea who the owner is? Cut the crap. The owner here is the famous Mr. Orville Hudson. You better watch what you say. If Mr. Hudson heard you talking like that, he'd have your head." At that moment, Charlie pulled out his phone, checked the text message Orville had sent him last night, and said casually, "He said he reserved the diamond box for me." When Harold heard Charlie's words, he burst out laughing. "Ha ha 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 ha! The diamond box? Charlie, you're going to make me die laughing. Do you know who gets to go to the diamond box? Only the most powerful people in Orris Hill can get in there. Maybe 10 people total. You're so full of it." Elsa had been quiet, but she couldn't help thinking that Charlie was way too concerned with saving face. How could someone like him possibly get a reservation for the diamond box? She always knew he didn't have money or influence and was a bit of a loser, but she never thought he'd be this vain. What a disappointment. Charlie just laughed and didn't say a word. To him, the people making fun of him were just a bunch of idiots, and he couldn't be bothered to engage with them. Gerald also said, sarcastically, "Charlie, even my dad can't get a table in the diamond box. Who do you think you are?" Wendy echoed, "Gerald's right. Forget about eating in the diamond box. A guy like him isn't even worthy of eating their scraps." Charlie looked at Gerald and couldn't help but sneer. What an idiot. Mr. Hudson had just beaten up his brother yesterday, and here he was, bold enough to come to his restaurant for dinner. So he asked, deliberately, "Hey, Gerald, I heard something happened to your brother yesterday." Gerald frowned. "How do you know about that?" Then he added, "My brother was attacked yesterday. He's still unconscious. We're trying to find out who hurt him and stripped him. Do you know anything?" Charlie shook his head, playing dumb. "No idea. I just heard something happened to him, but I don't know the details." Gerald said with contempt, "You're trash. Keep the White family's name out of your mouth. Next time, I won't be so polite." Charlie just smiled and ignored him. What a family of morons, he thought. They didn't even know his brother got knocked out by Orville? This was actually pretty funny. Just then, a man in a black suit hurried over to their group. He looked a little familiar, and then Charlie realized he was one of Orville's bodyguards. As soon as the man saw Charlie, he recognized him. His face lit up with respect and warmth, and he almost bowed on the spot. Charlie quickly shook his head at him. The man in black caught himself immediately, figuring Mr. Charlie didn't want to draw attention. So instead, he just said, "Right this way, guests. Your private room has been ready for a while." Harold was stunned when he heard that. Since when was the service for the gold box at the mansion this good? Someone came to greet him personally before he even gave his name? Talk about getting the VIP treatment. Gerald, standing beside him, was impressed. "Harold, man, you've got some serious pull. I think that guy works directly for Mr. Hudson. It looks like he really respects you. You know him personally? I never knew. Wow, you really keep things on the lowdown." Harold laughed, a smug look spreading across his face. "No need to brag about stuff like this. It's better to keep a low profile.